Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me as always is Tyson Wheeler Dynus and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice to be
And to
back
thank you.
good to be
Yes,
here.
as always.
in our virtual chat room. It's so nice.
It
Oh,
is.
It's
It
the best Zoom of the week, let me
is.
tell you.
It's the only one we don't have to do, and yet we choose.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No
listener.
cameras off. We don't have our camera off.
Yep. Fun fact, we all work remotely for the most part. So,
True, we
yep.
do. Yeah, this is how we interact with people now. And this
Yep.
is, so
I will give it.
Amazing.
I will give it up. I mean, since we started using cameras, it is so much more. Well, it's so much better than like like that three-way calling that you can still do with your iPhone. I found that out like last year. But like three-way calling was a big deal at the time.
It was
I
a
know
huge deal.
it's a huge deal. Yeah,
very
Yeah.
old, but still kind of a big deal. So this is nice, very nice.
it is nice.
I got my hair cut today, and she's like, do you want me to put product in your hair? And I always say no, but today I was like, nope, I'm going on camera tonight. Go ahead, you can put some product in my hair. All right.
Put some product in my hair, some powder on my face. Lights, camera, action. Let's
I know,
fucking do this.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I look shiny. Why did you bring that up? Anyway, sorry.
You
How
don't
was
have hair and makeup at home? Beth isn't in charge of that?
No, she's cooking.
Okay.
You know what she does.
Fair enough. Yeah. No time for that bullshit.
She did.
Yeah.
It's really kind of cute. Because she had a mastectomy, double mastectomy, and she wants to have ink on her chest, and so she bought a bunch of
Yeah.
like what do they call those? Temporary tattoos. And so she's rocking a huge temporary tattoo right now, which is it looks cool. I mean, I'm like, it's nothing she would ever
Is it like a
actually.
giant eagle or
It's
like
it's
what
it's
is
it's like a no, it's not. It's not a Ben. It's not Ben Afflecky. It's more like it's like just a big bird that's got all kinds of colors. I think what she wants to do is she wants to get a bunch of dog prints in rainbow colors, which is
Oh.
very on brand for Beth. And
Yeah.
but anyway, it looks cool. Like I'm like, and it's like she's already got some ink anyway. But like I think this like it was pretty. She's enjoying it. Let me put it that way. So
That's
that's
cool.
pretty. It is. That's neat. It's gonna cost like 10 grand probably for what she wants, but whatever. Like that. You know,
Hey.
as I understand it, ink. And I'm by the way, like I'm gonna get inked up finally.
Yes. Join me. Yes.
I'm gonna. I know what I want. I want a squid fighting a rocket ship in space. So I have to figure out how to make that into a reality. It's kind of hard. I mean, I
You
want
gotta
the
find
rock.
the right artist.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want it to be a retro 50s, with the rivets on the spaceship, and then the
Cool.
squid just attacking it, and yeah, so we're gonna go
Like the
on.
whole arm is gonna be that, or just half your arm.
No, I don't know. I mean, again, like it depends on the piece of art. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if
Right.
it looks good small, it's fine. I mean, my mom's gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, she's
But
gonna pass out. Lita,
it's so
you've
funny.
been warned.
I have a little tattoo right now, but it's so innocuous because it's lime green and purple. You don't notice it, and then like, I mean, it just it's the Bring Back Joe logo. It's an
Hmm.
Atom logo, or whatever, and so anyway, we found a guy that's amazing, but I don't know that he designs. I don't know. Anyway, I've been very impressed with your stuff. It seems very on brand to you, and also you designed it, so that's pretty neat. But I can't
Hmm.
design. I can't design it. But Giant Squid and 50s Rocket Ship pretty much fits my demographic.
That's the
It's very
word.
on brand for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to find a special artist for that
I
task.
think so.
I think so.
To
Yeah,
pull it off
yeah,
appropriately.
yeah.
And it is totally okay if they come up with a shitty design to say, yeah, no.
Oh, I will. Yeah,
I mean, it's going on your body permanently. I
Also,
know a few people who are just like, oh, I don't want to hurt their
I
feelings,
was
so
just about
go
to ask,
for it.
like, yeah, how many people have gotten like, a sleeve of like kindness of just like, yeah, I'm like, that's cool.
They're
Yeah,
like, it doesn't really look like a dick, but kind of,
go
let's
for
just
it.
go for it.
Go for it. Looks like a
Yeah.
50 rocket ship. Yeah, yeah.
no, it's not. It's also too painful to go through and not like what you get at the end of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's a time and place for politeness, and pushing back on your
That is
sexual
not
line is.
it. That is not it. Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
actually leads me into a story I really want to tell you guys. Do you
So
mind?
Yeah,
absolutely not.
no. This is what the podcast is for. Yeah.
So Tuesday morning I went into uh, I get my ketamine treatment at 7 a.m.
Mhm.
and weirdly enough, my sister does at the same time too. So it's like so we both were in like in rooms right across from each other. Anyway,
That's so cool.
and so like anyway, so I was okay. So my appointment was at 7. They want you to be there 10 minutes early.
Okay.
I'm not a morning person. Don't usually get there 10 minutes. I usually get there around 5 till
What?
or 7 time or around 7 in the morning. And and the little young she must be 15. I don't know how she's a nurse. Anyway, she checks me in, and every time that I'm more than 10 minutes late, she's like, I'm not supposed to let you in. I can't let you in. But
Right.
let's just take you in, and now my doctor is also not a morning person, so he shows up around 7:10, 7:15 every morning. So it's not like I'm keeping the doctor from administering the drugs, right?
Right.
Anyway, so anyway, I was there Tuesday morning. I got administered. He was 10 minutes late. Fair enough. Whatever. Like, he's a doctor. I don't give a shit. We all understand the social contract. It's fine. Anyway, so I wasn't tripping balls, but I was tripping, and about an hour and 15 minutes into my treatment. It takes about 2 hours to finish the treatment. This guy walks in, and he goes. The first thing he said was 6:58, 7:02. Those are unacceptable times. And I was like, okay. And he goes, what is the problem? Why can't you be here earlier? He's like, because if you're late again, I'm gonna have to turn you away. And I just looked at him and I go, and I'm high. So some of this, I can't tell you exactly all the things he said, but I can give you the gist of most of it, okay? But that's what he said initially. I said, and I looked at him, I go, well, you do what you got to do. And then he didn't like that answer. And so
Oh, Jesus.
he was like, "Well, you're in control of this situation, so I don't understand what the problem is." And then this is what he did. He puffed his chest out like this and put his hands down it.
Stand back a little bit
Okay,
so that
okay,
you,
okay.
but also be aware of your microphone. Oh God.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So he puffed his chest out and he put his hands down here and he goes, "Well, I don't understand what the problem is with you." Now, so and what I just did was finger guns on your belt for people listening at home. They were little finger guns that he was shooting from his belt.
But
And so,
Amazing.
incredibly non-threatening somehow.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yes,
very
yeah.
non-threatening. Yeah, yeah.
And so now when I do these treatments, I get cold, so I'm wearing a blanket. So you'll just
Sure.
have to
Yeah.
imagine that. So I slowly raised my hands out from underneath and go, "No, I get it." And and when I said, "No, I get it," I did very pointed finger guns and looked him right in the eye. And then he goes, "Well, I don't like your tone or whatever you're doing with your hands." And I'm like, I don't. I was like, I don't know. And so he said some more shit and then he left. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And
What a
so,
bitch.
and so I was sitting there thinking about it because it ruined my treatment, by the way. You don't really come
Sure.
in the
Yeah.
middle of a treatment and do that. And so, uh, when we got checked out, I said, Sally, I was not the best Tyson I could be today. And so she's like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I'll tell you in the car," because Beth was driving her home and me home. Because we have to be checked out from ketamine treatment. You can't
Sure.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I got in the car and I told them the story. And the first thing my wife says, "Well, you realize that my brother is his boss, right?" And I go, no,
Cool.
I hadn't thought about that. And she goes, he's going to shit himself when he figures out who you are. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess he probably
Oh.
is going to shit himself probably. Uh, but it was such a fucking, it irritated me so much. And I don't, you guys know, I'm pretty nice to people, right? Like in
You are.
general, it was kind of the bitchiest thing
You
I've done
have a
in a long
limit,
time.
though, I think, with stupidity.
Well, it was, and my sister goes, "Well, he's really short, so you think that's probably part of his problem?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I think that probably is kind of his problem, you know." But
Definitely, it always is.
and so, anyway, like so, but the thing was, stuff it stuck with me because I was in treatment, and so I just kept running through it in my brain. But he was so mad when I said, "No, I get it."
That's
Uh,
my favorite part.
Then he like kind of spun out like, and it was kind of great. I mean, I don't even remember what he was saying, but it was just like I was like, no, I already won this, so it's fine. I was like, also, by the way, if any of your bosses found out that you came in and confronted a patient during a treatment, they would fucking
Yeah, you'd
lay
be
into you.
screwed. Yeah.
Anyway,
Unless he's like a master at this and just like likes fucking with people, because then I'd have to respect the shit out of this dude. Because if he's doing this intentionally and just
well,
walking in and like just mentioning
Yeah.
some
I mean,
random like weakness of yours and letting you ruminate about it, while you're tripping, not
maybe
balls, tripping. I don't know. Like, well, yeah,
I'm,
Could be. Could
I
I'm
be.
thought
not.
for a while, I thought this whole thing might have just been an hallucination that you had for like the first half. But like,
That's what I
it
was
took
thinking.
me.
I was like, Tyson,
That's
this
where
is
I was
just you
going with
tripping
this.
balls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, that is
No, and
quite awesome.
when I walked out, they're like, "We need you to get out of the room because we need to get the next people in." I was like, "That's fine. I don't mind leaving early." She's like, "Well, your ride's not here." And I'm like, "That's fine. Don't worry." And when I walked by, he had gathered the two nurses, and they were in a huddle in their office. And so, like, it was just like I was like, I get it. I'll be early. That's basically what I said. I mean, I'll be earlier next time. Sorry, but like if you ever, and before I left, I grabbed the other nurse because my main nurse and that guy just left when I was, when they found out that I had left the room, they were just gone.
Yeah.
And I grabbed her. I said, "Listen, um, apologize to your boss for me, but he really shouldn't come at me when I'm doing ketamine."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, okay, okay." And I was like, "Okay." And I left. Anyway, so
I
my
think you need
sister
to
and I.
like next week show up with a box of donuts at like 6:35
Oh, I
a.m.
know. Like I'll be sitting
Or like,
outside, being like, "Hey, where the fuck are you guys? Where? Like I thought. Yeah.
Just
Like,
tapping on your watch.
yeah,
Tick
like,
tock, doc.
come on, you
Fucking
assholes.
bitch.
I've never
Yeah.
seen that guy before. That I mean, but he came in. He's like, "I run this program." I'm like, you probably do, but anyway, it was just this thing, and I don't, but I can't. It was one of those things that would bother me so much I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. And the next morning, you wake up and you're thinking about it again. Like one
Sure.
of those
sure, oh
situations.
yeah,
It's like, God damn it. But I also am quite proud of how I handled it. Because I
Yeah.
mean, he was trying to belittle me, and I belittled a very little man.
short man, short
Yeah.
man.
No, I mean,
You
well,
made smaller.
I don't know. The finger guns got me. I just really, and I don't even know that he knew he was doing the finger guns because he was like, "What you're doing with your hands? I don't like that. I don't like that attitude." And I'm like, "Oh my god, okay, just get out of here."
Go
Uh,
away. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that was my dumb. I have another story I'll tell you later during plugs, but that was my dumb thing that happened this week, and I was just like, "God damn, whatever." All right.
Smith, did you have any annoyances like that this week?
No, nothing of that caliber. No, that is a week, right? In and of itself. Like you should have just, yeah, no, that's a lot. No, what did I do like the last, I went to a well inspection. We had a well inspection done.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I don't know a lot about wells, but I know more now.
I don't
Did
know
you know,
anything.
for example, that water is in the ground? It's not just in like swimming pools and
What?
lakes. Yeah,
But swimming
it
pools are
lives.
in the ground technically, but
Well, that's true,
uh,
but you can see them.
that's true. You can see them. So, do you have? I mean, So the
Yeah,
property
so
you
that was
bought
the big
has its
thing
own
is,
well, right?
yeah, so it has its own well. We were not sure how functional that well was because we don't know
Right.
anything. I knew that when I turned the spigot on, the water didn't come out. So in my
Oh
mind, the
shit.
well was
That's
broken. Well was
yeah.
dry because we had some very knowledgeable gentlemen, which is the first and only time they've ever been referred to as that. But no, they're
Knew
actually really
it.
good. They came
Yeah.
out and they were country, like to the core. Like both had like
They
MAGA
have all
hats
their
on.
teeth. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for the most part, yes. I was actually, yeah. And so no, but they were actually like super cool, and like we like it was
Did they
fun.
have
Like we just got to like
did
just
they
like
have one of
sort of like you configure stuff, and then we were just like kind of waiting to see if the water would turn on, and it finally did. And
Oh, well, that's
it,
cool.
Yay.
it was fun.
Progress.
Yeah,
All
That's a
right. That's
start.
cool.
yeah.
Did
So
they have
it
one of
was
those sticks that's shaped in a Y that kind of tells you where water is?
oh,
Oh,
like a
for like
guiding
water
rod.
witching?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I had my middle school gifted teacher, Dave Bernasconi. For anyone who happens to,
Oh God. Wow.
I know at least one listener of the pod
Blast from the past. Yep.
knows who Dave Bernasconi was. But I write
Weird.
completely side note, but I totally remember us. Like he was like the science, doing like the gifted teacher, right? And like
Yeah.
so, but he had like this. I would describe it as a compound because that's how I remembered it in like the seventh grade. But he like lived
Yeah.
off the grid. He had like solar and like he had like solar heated like water, and because
That's
we'd always
cool.
give him
Yeah. I
shit
remember
like when it
him
was
being a
yeah because when
hippie
it was
for
like
sure.
overcast we'd give him shit for taking a cold shower that morning and stuff like that. But
Cold.
no, but he like I remember him taking us out there and like using those divining rods and like they're
Really?
absolute nonsense. Like they're it's completely it's no because like they just bend when you like tilt your hand up and down. Like that's what makes them move.
It's like a Ouija board.
Like look, I'm doing
Little
it without
bit.
touching it.
Little
Like
bit. Yeah.
it's basic physics and
It's a
yeah.
fun
So
party trick. Yeah.
yeah, it was a fun party trick. But anyway, what were we talking about? Anyway, we've got water, which is
Yeah, that's
awesome.
good.
Yay.
And
Score.
so and it's
Okay.
running through and it works. And so that was kind of one of the major sticking points. And then we had a septic inspection on Thursday. So we're getting
Okay.
closer to having our own private sewage system, which I'm going to name
Ooh.
something like the
You
something
have to.
something sewage
Yeah.
plant, something appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, to be
And
fair, like, I mean, you get to name a boat, you might as well name a sewage plant. But,
yeah, I think you
Yeah.
get to. You spend over $5,000 on anything. I think you get to
that's
name it
exactly
something.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe not
so
And
tattoo
have
worthy,
that
but definitely
name.
a name.
Yeah, not tattoo, but you should put it over the toilets in your
Yeah,
house
yes, we
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yes.
as a fun reminder. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, that
You
was less eventful. But yeah, it's I did a lot of research on septic systems, so I
I
know
bet you
like
did.
so if
Yeah.
we had the time and
I mean,
anyone gave a shit, I would
so-
totally go over the chambers and how it works. It's fairly fascinating. It's a
I know.
fascinating
I
science.
think you just came up with your name. Anyone gave a shit. That's the name
If
of your.
anyone gave a shit, a podcast
Hey,
septic
that's not bad.
there may be a market for that. I don't know that the content may be. I mean, they're neat, but there's only so much you can talk about.
That's fair.
It'd be like scum layers. That's a thing. Like they have the thing called the scum layer, which is actually the coolest name for kind of the whole part of it.
That's
The
true.
scum layer.
Is that the part that breaks down the fecal matter?
No, that is the pre. Oh, see, I'm already failing this test.
It's okay.
The
It's
scum layer is gets all the stuff that you flush that isn't poo or toilet paper. So like
Oh.
any like GI Joe
Tampons.
figures or that happened to me once. That's why it's GI
Yeah.
never to be seen again. Poor Sergeant Slaughter. But no,
What did he do to you, buddy?
nothing. I was playing with him in the bathroom, and it was a matter of multitasking and my, sort of proclivity for coordination. And he went in and
In the toilet.
met his ultimate demise in the Iola, Kansas public sewer system. So they still be down there. I mean, he was made of plastic, so I guarantee you, he still lives on.
Yeah.
He's
Young
still
Joe.
there somewhere. Go
Joe.
go Joe.
Go Joe.
So yeah, so I'm just learning more about the country and kind of what you have to do when you don't live in the city. So water and plumbing.
That's a
Water
lot.
and
Yeah.
plumbing.
Very
Exciting,
important. Both are very important.
They are. Yeah. So that's really like not a whole else. It's just kind of a normal week. It's getting cold and it's getting dark, which sucks.
Yeah.
I think the dark
The
bothers
worst
me
part
more
about fall.
absolutely it does. The darkness bothers me more than the coldness. Like I don't mind the cold anymore because now as we were talking about, we work at home, and so like
Mm-hmm.
that changes everything if you don't
It
have to
does,
deal
yeah.
with the shit. Snow is amazing, and I can just look out my window and be like, oh, it's a
Absolutely. Yeah.
completely different ball game when I have to get out in that shit.
In that shit,
Oh
yeah.
no, nobody wants to do that. So no, so
No.
I like the colder, the colder climes, but the darkness, as you can tell, it is like completely dark here now.
I
It makes
always
me
I,
sad.
was- I always wanted to
I
live in
hate
Colorado with the idea that, like you get snowed in and you couldn't leave for like 3 weeks. That just sounds so nice to me, like
it's not great.
well, okay. Well, all
I
right.
will say the nice thing is it's pretty, and one nice thing about living near Denver is that the sun comes out most of the year, most days of the year, I should say. So
Oh,
that's a plus.
that's
I
good.
Yeah,
mean, you could have a crazy snowstorm like early in the morning, and then by the afternoon the sun's out. That
those are
part
the
is
those are
nice.
the
Yeah.
best. Yeah, I like
Oh
those.
yeah.
Those days
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
yeah, good snow playing days. I don't get to play in the snow as much as I'd like to, but
I
Yeah,
don't
me
either.
neither.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
no.
would like to go sledding. I keep
Oh my
telling
god,
people I
I
will
would
not
too.
go skiing. I will not go snowboarding. I will go in the hot tub after you get back from the slopes and we can have some drinks and play games. That's it. That's all.
I
Uh,
agree with you. Sledding, they should allow sleds on those slopes. I mean, it's a little
I
hard
would
to get
love
up on
that.
the.
That would
That
be
would be
so
so
much
much more
fun.
fun. I never thought about that, but oh my god, you don't have to
I
worry
think
about
at some
breaking.
places
Like,
allow tubing, but you have to be a certain
oh, that's
age.
right. Oh yeah,
hey.
yeah,
Like, they cap it off
yeah,
at 8,
Oh,
maybe.
I was gonna
yeah.
say like maybe 65 and plus. That'd be good. Like.
Like one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid, like a little kid, was like at my grandpa's farm. Is he used to like when it would snow, he would like we'd have like a tow, like a ski tow rope, and so somebody and we
Oh,
would tie that to the trailer hitch of his pickup truck, and he would drive around like the roads. So he would
that's
drive down the
cool.
road, and then I would be on the side, like while he was towing me, like on the freshly. I was like 8 years old, and this is
Yeah.
Super
incredibly,
fun. Yeah.
insanely dangerous, but it was so much fun. And so,
Yeah, I did that once in Western Kansas, and it was so dangerous because they had tied up two sleds, right? So they had a sled up front, and they had another rope. So they had a rope to the car, a sled, rope to the second sled, and I
Right.
fell off, and this sled came barreling right at me and fucking knocked me to the side, and I was
I
like,
might actually just be misremembering that because now the more I think about it, there may have just been a rope tied to the sled that like there
that's what
was
we
no
did.
option of letting off. It was
No,
like no,
you
you fell off. Like it
yeah,
was
you had to
yeah, it was
bail,
And tumbled.
decided for you. Yes,
you know. But
yes,
I
it's
mean,
the winter wonderland for you. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, they were both wooden sleds. I mean, it's amazing nobody died in my,
Oh yeah,
in my.
with like the
Oh, yeah.
steel, like razor
But
sharp, like oh my god,
it was
like
fun, to be
at
fair.
least a finger. Like yeah, it
Yeah,
was very fun.
exactly.
One of the
Uh,
fondest memories I have of my grandfather.
uh,
Is
it is
that
fun, to be fair. I did have fun doing it, but I just remember thinking, oh my god, that kind could have killed me. I was like 9, like whatever.
right?
It's tough when you get like a brush with mortality at age 9. And you're like,
Yeah,
that's not good.
that's like a list worth coming up with. Is like things you were pretty sure that were going to kill you that your family endorsed, and I'm sure we could come up with quite a
We
list
could come
because
up with
things,
a list.
yeah, like
Yeah,
a lot of things,
Relatively
like
long list.
sort of
Yeah.
flipping the script on this whole like helicopter parenting thing where everyone's
that's true. Yeah,
nobody's allowed out of
Again,
the
we were talking
house.
about the 80s. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
right.
like
Like
you could do literally whatever the fuck you wanted
yeah,
into the
and
90s. I
often,
think,
like I said, at the
yeah.
encouragement of your parents and grandparents, like they were
Yep.
they were enablers. I
You're
tell
like,
you, they were
whatever.
enablers.
uh,
Exactly.
It's like,
uh,
is there an adult close by? Sure. Okay,
Sure,
bye.
probably. Statistically, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I I think Have you guys ever been to Castle Rock? Have you ever been there?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, we
love
went on
Castle Rock.
school field trips there
So
multiple times.
my grandpa and his brothers used to take jalopies and drive them up the rocks and then
Oh,
drive them
God.
to the side and down. Like,
Holy shit.
yeah. I mean, these are the same guys. He had 8 brothers and sisters. These are the same guys when Prohibition was happening. The moonshine guy would come by and they'd be like, "Hey," and he was like, "Hey, the moonshine." I mean, they're teenagers at this point, and they would get
Uh-huh.
him drunk on his own moonshine, steal it, and send him on his way with his horse and carriage. I mean, so when we talk about how free it was in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't as free.
Probably that's no, that's fair. That's fair. I hadn't really thought
Yeah.
about that. You know.
I mean, we could
Yeah.
go play and not be, and like you said last week, like like get out of the house, just go somewhere,
Yeah, just
like
go. Get out of my
Right.
face. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
But
But they
like
were like
I
sending like people like kids to the mine at like 11. So
that
well,
that
you're right. It
yeah
was a little different. Like
It
yeah.
yeah,
was
but
yeah, it was a lot different.
compared to today, it's like the helicopter conference you're talking about. I mean, it's night and day. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you know.
Very different.
I
Yeah.
mean, do any of you did you ever have a play date in your life? That seems so ridiculous to me. That like that
Like a planned play date
like a
where like
planned
it was
play date.
coordinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No.
Not that I mean, birthday parties, that was the only thing
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
planned.
Right. Yeah.
It was just one of those things that we assumed every day after school we'd go outside and we'd be playing with our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I
The
don't.
only like, time I kind of remember that would be like with like sleepovers. Like those would be
Yeah,
usually
sleepovers
pretty
for
planned.
sure.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, it was
Yeah.
mostly like getting hold of your friend and begging your parents for a ride over to their house or what.
Emphasis on begging.
Yeah,
We
because I had
talked
to expand
about
out
that
of
too. The ride
we did.
situation was
Yeah,
just
I
that.
had to I had to expand out of my own neighborhood. Like when I was a kid, like those kids were fine, but thank
Yeah.
God, like
Some
I
of them were
got
missing fingers.
a
Whatever.
little bit, yeah, absolutely. They were. It's like you. There was a lot of shit that happened. Like I was like 6 years old too, which is nuts. But like, yeah, that Wichita neighborhood was rough, man. Oh man, a lot
Oh
of
yeah. Some of them
oh
were little shitheads. Like I don't know if
oh
you
my
guys
god,
remember
yes.
Dean Herzog. Are you familiar with Dean? Anybody? Dean Herzog?
Kind of
I
He
mean,
sounds
got into
familiar.
the punk rock scene in Hayes, Kansas for a minute. But
He, I think like how you said it, got into like they let him you're now in Dean.
he bought a leather jacket in high school and then could go to shows
Okay,
basically. But he would hide in a tree at the end of the block and just spit on people for hours.
that's
what kind of
that's
Huck Finn bullshit is that? Like
yeah.
I don't
what?
know. And he would just he was so bored. He was like, I'm gonna go in the tree. And we're like, great, because we didn't like playing with him, but he was there. So it was like, whatever. There goes Dean again. He
That
was
is
a piece of shit.
that is pretty punk rock, but also probably emblematic of problems at home. But
Oh yeah. Well, he was also
As is punk
that
rock.
is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Fun fact, his sister Candy worked at the Horseshoe in Hayes America as a bartender later
no,
and would flash her vagina to the customers quite often.
wow. You know
Yeah.
what?
Wow.
So
Got to make tips somehow, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. That's like I was sure you were going to say breasts because
I've
I
got
was
so
too.
many good stories like that.
I was
Yeah.
90-10 and you went with the underdog on that one. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
the literal underdog.
Hard life over there across
Oh,
the street from
I
us.
don't even know
Yeah.
how you like flash that. Like
Yeah, I mean
that's
it's a
not
lot
It's
of
it
work.
really is
I
She wears
you have
it's
to
a
skirt.
like
lot of
move.
work. It
I mean, what?
involves just oh no, I saw it once and it was jeans. I was like,
Gee,
"Well,
okay, yeah.
okay, well, great, good for you." Uh,
I mean, that's a little,
Wow.
like if it's a skirt, maybe I'd be like, oh, fine, she needs an extra $5. But jeans, that's like a process, like that's not. I mean, at least it would
Yeah.
be for me.
she's still to this day the only woman I've seen like flash of a JJ. Like I'm like, okay, whatever,
I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah. I mean I thought
Oh,
like
it is.
accidental. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that was a
Uh,
thing either. But I
I don't
hope
either.
my niece
Like
doesn't find out
what
about it.
point do you have to like, like enhance your game more? Like, the boobs just
These
aren't doing it
my
anymore.
tits
So
aren't
for these
perfect.
fellas.
Not
Let's
happening for these patrons at the
Been
Horseshoe.
days since I
I
got a
spent
$2
all
Yeah.
bill from one of these guys. Yeah.
uh, I I spent all this time shaving it perfectly. What am I doing? My tits aren't great, but move on.
Got to show it off,
Gotta show it.
Now
Yeah,
whatever.
was the
whatever.
horseshoe the one that had like that old like bowling like arcade game? Like it was like a old mechanical like bowling game.
I don't know if
Was,
I saw that. I mean, I
I
I don't
don't
saw
know.
know if
those
I saw that.
before.
We were there though. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah,
Smith,
yeah,
you
yeah.
definitely don't. After after Oktoberfest, which
Yeah,
was
yeah,
also my bachelorette in 2016.
Oh yes,
yeah.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
an infamous picture of Smith. It looks like he's kissing Tyson's arm. He is not, but the picture makes it look like it. It's
Yeah.
magnifique. I love it. I got to get it framed. But we were at the Horseshoe, my friend. That
Oh
was
yeah.
where we were
No,
at. Yeah.
I was confusing it with what's the other sort of
Oh, it's
and I don't
across. It's right next to it, right?
yes,
It
what's
was
the other
it,
Oh,
it's not there
uh,
anymore, I don't think. But it
not the
Club
was.
horse
3?
Yeah,
Was it
that's
Club
Club?
what
Three.
Yeah,
Club
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
3.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so by comparison, like the horseshoe is a
well, classy.
classy
It
joint.
was.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
by
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, Club
And it
3 on
was
the other hand.
I would say accepting of people. Club 3, you couldn't get in. Like, if you weren't a part of, like, that crowd, they would just be like, "Yeah, no, you're not coming in."
I don't remember any of that, and that makes me sort of suspicious of any crowd that you would be in Hayes, Kansas, that you couldn't get into a club. But whatever,
Yeah.
I never tried, so I don't know.
I've been in Club 3 at least once or twice, and I think that's where they had like the pinball or not pinball, but the bowling
I
machine.
know what you're talking about, so I
Mm.
must have been in there one time
It was
because they
probably
had
with you. I guarantee it was with
it
you.
was
I don't
what
even know
it was like
why I would hypothesize otherwise. Of course, it was with
it was a
you.
combination of shuffleboard
Yes, yes,
and bowling.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
It was
yeah.
good. Yeah, that
I
was
wanna
us.
play that game. It sounds fun.
It
It was
was
pretty
fun.
neat.
Yeah.
If you could get in, obviously we were of a caliber they respected, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, oh, these
That's
guys are good.
that's what. Yeah, they're fine.
These guys look like I got $12 burning a hole in their pocket. Let's go.
Club 3.
Club 3.
We
Yeah,
had
Shout
good
out.
times.
well, like when Matt and I were back in Hayes one night, we went to the rail and nobody was there, and we drank. They had $5 whatever doubles, and we just played trivia and drank with the two bartenders who were there because nobody came in, and then some people came in and then they left. Not a huge, not a huge, not a huge concern. Sorry, not a huge surprise. They had to shut down because they had no business. Anyway, we were there, and we started talking to these bartenders, and they started telling us stories about what the club that used to be the Bijou. Did we
Yeah.
did we tell you about this place? They were like, that is the place to get roofied, like 105%. And they were talking about how like if you have a drink.
Allegedly, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Sorry,
Allegedly.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And they were like, I won't. She was like, I won't have a drink in there. She's like, the bartender's putting in. I mean, I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like,
Well, it's
what?
now called Chuck's. They
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
changed the name to Chuck's.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what she was talking about. And
Yeah.
she,
That's
yeah,
what I've heard too. It's sleazy and you don't wanna go there.
Yeah.
we played a gig there one night. It was kind of fun. But but I
That's
don't.
where I met you, Tyson.
Oh,
Was
that's.
at
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bijou before Chuck's.
Oh
'Cause you
yeah,
were
Uh,
at with, my
G.
hotel
Willikers.
year.
Is that everything
yeah.
about G. Willikers? It was still G. Willikers then, wasn't
It
it?
was G.
G.
Upstairs.
Williger.
Willikers was right next to the Bijou.
Okay. All right.
Now that's something else.
I
The
think we.
Bijou is that little place where you go down the stairs and then there was a stage in the basement.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Okay.
what. Yeah, that's where we
Yeah,
Yeah.
played. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
G.
be fair,
Willikers was a bar right next to it on the
that's
corner.
right.
I think we met at Bob Long's house, if I remember correctly. That's what I remember, but I don't know.
Well, okay, you are correct. We met at Bob Long's house, but I remember you from my hotel year
Well, that is
at the Bijou with
well,
Grubbs
well
because she pointed you out and was like, "I think that's the band's manager," because you were, like, hanging out with the guys and you had your trench coat on.
they tried to. It's so funny. That's so funny about that story. They invited me up to sing. They invited. They, in- they invited me up. They invited me up to sing their closer song, right?
Yeah.
And I love Travis. I love those guys. Super nice guys. I never learned that song because I didn't like it. So they brought me up to sing, and I just faked it because I didn't know the words.
Oh,
I was
wow.
just, like it, it was just like, oh my god, you guys. And I remember Grubbs was trying to hook up with the bass player, and then they all
Yeah,
went to
she
my
was
house.
trying real hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the band, I don't know if I ever told you, but the band member was like, "Do it, man, do it." And he's like 18. He's like, "Oh," like, I don't wanna do. He's like, "Oh," this is his first time on tour. He didn't know what was going on. He's like, "No," and they're like, "Come on, man, she's into it." And he's like,
Oh,
"No, I don't know." Like,
smart man. No offense, Grubbs. I love you wherever you're at.
she works in Topeka.
Yeah. That's all we know. That's all we
That's
know.
I know where her
Wish
desk
her
is.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Uh, sorry. Yeah.
Memories. Memory lane.
Yeah.
It's a good stroll. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Oh,
bad.
wow. Well, should we do some headlines,
Yeah.
perhaps?
Well, let
We
me see
should,
if I
Okay,
can
let's
get
do
my
it.
phone.
Headline of the week.
Okay.
Don't get too excited.
It's
Well,
kind of
my headlines
slow.
are pretty depressing this week, and I'm sure
Oh,
the
It's
Matt and I
kind of a
shit.
had.
slow week. It was just, I don't know. Like,
I'm
it
sure
just
Matt
seemed
and
like
I
kind
have
of a.
some. Yeah, it was a
We
slow week.
probably do. Yeah.
We probably have, but so I'll get a couple. You probably don't have this one. This is from the New Yorker, or sorry, the New York Magazine, and they did an expose. So the title of it, oh, it's from Intelligencer. Sorry, it's inside the Patriot Wing. January 6th rioters are running their jail block like a gang. They're leaving more radicalized than ever. Now I just want you to,
What?
It's
yes. So
fantastic.
I just want you to think about that. So they locked a bunch of these fucking insurrectionist dudes up in the same place, and they've created their own prison gang, and they're proselytizing people as they leave. I mean, remember that, like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to news, but Trump has been saying over and over again, it was a peaceful transition, over and over and over and over again. So this article is all about how people are getting put into that wing, and they're becoming Donald Trump fanatics based on the teachings of all these people that were interred for January 6th. It's fucking horrifying. Anyway,
It kind of is. Yeah.
it's not. I mean, it's not funny. I'm laughing about it because I'm sad. But like,
Oh,
So
that's the only
fucking
reason I'm laughing.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because I'm terrified. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, so, like, this whole article, and I'm not even gonna try to quote from it. It's so long. But anyway, I read the whole thing, and it's just like, holy shit. Actually, you can listen to it. It's 43 minutes long. It's long. Anyway, but I just was like, holy shit, that's a thing. Like, that's a real thing. And I'm like, oh my god. I was like, where are the Crips and the Bloods? Like, I take my chances with them more than I would with the fucking Donald Trump
Those
mafia.
guys, yeah, no shit.
I'm trying to think. I know it was like
So
the white nationalists always used to be kind of in their own kind of gang in
yeah,
prison. I'm guessing this is just kind of supplanted the
An
Nazis.
extension of that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yes, like a spin-off group, the less intelligent white supremacists, I'm
They're like
guessing.
the Frasers to the Nazi Cheers. Yeah, basically, it's like.
Yeah, right, right. They're yeah, it's more for cerebral. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. That's
Uh,
good stuff.
this is from People magazine. Donald Trump. Oh, I have so much product in my hair. It's so weird. Uh, Donald Trump sways to music for 39 minutes at bizarre Pennsylvania town
Oh,
hall.
yeah.
Who the hell wants to hear questions, right? This is from People magazine. Now, this was covered widely all over the place on
Yeah.
all the night shows and daily shows and all that stuff. But yeah, like, he just apparently a couple people passed out from the heat, and so they had to bring people in to, like, help them. Now, his campaign manager said they were so excited they fainted. I don't think that's what happened. Um,
Basically, the Beatles.
yeah, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And so anyway, like, he took 4 questions, and then he was like, who wants to do questions? He's like, we should play Ave Maria, and then they played it,
That
and
thing was weird.
then he was like, play the Pavarotti version. That's better. He's like, they gave me the version with no vocals. That's stupid. And then they did that. And his playlist was all over the place. It went from Guns N' Roses, November Rain, to oh man, what else did they play? I mean, it was a weird playlist. It was, it was just all over the place. Just songs that he liked, and so he was like, "Who wants to answer questions? This is stupid." And he's like, "Let's just hang out and vibe, like, or whatever, like." And people stayed. I mean, half people left, but people stayed. And there was a guy on stage, and I hope you can find it. He's in every clip. He's just standing there, and he's just got this stone look on his face, but he's clapping. Is the weirdest goddamn thing. I mean, he was my hero at that thing. Like, I know he was a fan of Trump, and so he wanted to stay and enjoy the dance party or whatever. But anyway, I mean, surely you saw this, Matt, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was it was one of the ones you sniped from me. But that's cool. That's cool.
Sorry.
It's cool. We'll risk it
Oh,
on second.
every week. Every
Yeah, but
week.
no, but like that, it just speaks to a larger point that like it doesn't matter what he says or does. Like it
No.
does not
Can
matter.
do
It
whatever he
is
wants.
so impenetrable at this point. Like it's talking to friend Ryan, and I was like, I was thinking about like what October surprise could possibly.
Yeah.
There's really not one. Like
No.
it literally
No.
is like the P tape he'd be over that shit, before, like,
2
it doesn't,
seconds.
like,
Yeah.
right, we were so excited about the P tape in 2016. Now they wouldn't give a shit. Like, it
No,
just,
they wouldn't.
it's so, it's just, sorry to bring it down, but like that, like, yeah, that just explains, like, even he knows that, like, it
Yeah.
doesn't, like, I'm not here to answer questions. You guys don't have any. So let's
Yeah.
fucking dance. And so kind of, yeah, it should be, yeah, anyway, but yeah,
Is
that was funny.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and to your point, like it doesn't like people are now saying, "Oh, he's not going to do the things he's talking about doing." Like he's not that guy. He says he's going to use the military against his political enemy. He's not going to do that.
Bullshit.
He's like he just says shit. And we love him anyway because he says nonsense, and he's one of us. And I'm like, he's not one of you. He's
Yeah,
fucking
that
billionaire.
is the GOP. I think issued like a publication that they had everybody read because they all have the same thing. Like the narrative from everybody is, again, like we talked about with Vance, kind of the whitewashing of the reality of Trump. They're
Yeah.
all doing it now. Like even I heard
Yeah.
on NPR the other day that one of the people who testified against him at his first impeachment trial,
Mm.
like for the January 6th stuff, he's evolved now.
No.
He's like, yeah, he says a lot of nonsense, and you know what, he was a great president.
Yeah.
And like for some reason, the Democratic Party can't defeat that message, which
I
is
know.
infuriating.
It
But it
is.
just
It
like
is.
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my god, like, but it doesn't matter. Like it is, things observably were better under Trump than they were with Biden, and against every metric and every logical, that's so
That's what they
yeah,
think.
I'm real
That's what
worried.
they think.
Yeah.
That's how they remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, because inflation didn't happen anywhere else except for America.
I mean, yeah.
But that's big thinking. Those are
Those.
those are thoughts for another day.
I mean, you think about like. I mean,
Uh,
people are like. Something like they don't remember all the weird shit that happened when he was president. Like when he looked at the sun to look at the eclipse, with no glasses. I mean, people forget weird shit that he did, and they forget all the bad stuff. But he does. You're right. Like it doesn't like in this undecided voter nonsense. I think uh, John Stewart said it best. He's like, so if you're one of the 4 or 5% of the people that have been kicked in the head by a mule and you haven't decided who you want to vote, I mean, and that is very much true. Like it's just like, how could you not have decided at this point? But
Yeah,
like, and okay, so that leads me into my next, which is also a political thing. Sorry.
that's all right. It's all right. It's the season.
This is from Rolling Stone, and this was amazing. And I've been looking for clips of this, and I found one, so I'm going to watch it after this. But Trump crumbles when pressed on economic policy in tense interview. So he went on an interview with Bloomberg at the Economic Club in Chicago, and to quote this article, it was a total mess. Basically, they pointed out that all his shit on tariffs would raise the price, would raise inflation on everything. Uh, and then like he got so frustrated. Like, okay, so I'll just hit the highlights. He's like, Trump gets schooled on tariffs. More from Rolling Stone. No. Trump gets frustrated and bashes the interviewer. Trump responds to a question about Google by ranting about voting in Virginia. Trump claims immigrants would kill an audience member when asked how deportations will affect the job market. Trump responds to a question about how he'd cut government spending by talking about Air Force One. Trump is unable to say how he'd help small businesses. Trump doesn't deny he's been talking to Putin since he left office. Trump mocks auto workers. That's one of my favorites. Trump says January 6th riot was filled with peace and love.
oh
Trump,
yeah.
yeah.
I did see that quote. Yeah.
I did see
Uh,
that too.
Trump claims his rambling is strategic. Here, I'm
Okay.
going to read this because this is funny. At one point, after Trump spent minutes meandering through multiple trains of thought in response to a question about the American dollar's status as an international reserve currency, immediately you know that's out of his wheelhouse. Micklethwait, who was the interviewer, attempted to interject into his rambling. Trump wasn't happy. You have got to be able to finish a thought because it's very important, Trump says. You've gone from the dollar to Emmanuel Macron. McElwain countered. The former president claimed that his speaking style was called the weave and that it's all these different things happening. Okay, then. So, Anyway, and then this is my final. Sorry, I'm very political. Very political.
Very political.
Uh,
Good
uh,
throwback. I like it.
uh, and so I bring up this story I just found tonight, and this is from Newsweek, and it says sneeze in the shower leads to a shocking discovery, a great rush of relief. So it's about this kid or this guy, Andy. I think it's a they them. Sorry, Andy Norton, 32. Uh, he's had sinus problems his whole life, and so he went to see some ENT, and they're like, "Listen, blow your nose in the shower. It's better for your thing." And he had a hard sneeze in his shower a couple weeks ago, and Norton had been doing that for the past 8 months. This is sneezing with little change until one day recently, something really hard flew out of his nose and hit the shower floor. It was only when they picked it up that Norton realized what it was. It was a piece of Lego. Suddenly, suddenly my memory of something I had completely forgotten about in my adult life came flooding back to me. So he stuck a piece of Lego up his nose when he was a kid. Then he couldn't get it out, but it was like a hat piece for like a minifig. So he put
Oh
a
yeah,
minifig up his nose to try to connect it to the
Oh my
piece.
god.
that's like a smart kid idea right there. Yeah,
It is right,
that's
and so
fairly
and so
respectable.
and so anyway, it didn't work. In fact, the head of the minifig got stuck in his nose. So
Oh my god.
his mom had to pull it out and give him a whatever, like a hard talking to. So I like this story, but I have a very similar story that happened to me when I was a kid. When I was in third grade, this is true. This is very true. When I was in third grade, I was shoving a pencil up my nose. Classic third grade shenanigans. Anyway, I also chewed the tips of my pencils when I was a kid, and
Uh-huh.
it went up there. And then when I pulled the thing out, the eraser didn't come out, so it was up here. And
Uh-huh.
I started sneezing like crazy. And I went to my teacher and I said, "Listen, I have a eraser stuck in my nose." And she laughed at me. She's like, "Really, really?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I just like, but it went up there, and so
It just went up there.
and I can't get it out." And she's like, "You can't." She's like, "Just sit down." Basically, she's like,
Right.
"Don't
Yeah.
bother me."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Can I go see the nurse, maybe?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Whatever, you fucking idiot." I went home. I told my parents. I was like, "Listen, an eraser got stuck in my nose, right?" And they're like, "What?" Like I'm like, "I'm serious. It's stuck in my nose." And they're like, "We don't see," they're looking, they're like, "We don't see anything." I know it's in my nose, like. So we went to an ENT 6 weeks later. ENT does an X-ray and is like, "Well, there's no eraser up there, but there's a polyp in your nose." And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, you have a polyp in your nose, whatever." I didn't say what. My dad said what. And they're like, "We're gonna have to have it removed, because it's, it could be cancerous or whatever."
Sure.
And at this point, I don't know what to believe. I remember a eraser going into my nose, but now this doctor says I have this potentially cancerous thing in my nose. So anyway, we do another round of ENT, and then finally on the third ENT visit, the guy's looking up there and he's like, "That's not a polyp." And he shoved thing way up into my nose and pulled out an eraser. And I go, "See, I told you it was an eraser." And uh, anyway, it was a hard fought battle, but
Well, I'm glad I'm glad that you went eraser first. That was if you're gonna take a pencil off your nose, like start with the eraser end. That was. If we're gonna share this with the kids, we'll just be responsible about it. It's fun because I too have apparently this is just something
kids
young
do.
kids do is shit. Yeah, and maybe girl. You don't mean to genderify it. Maybe young women do this too. I just like to give
Maybe.
them credit. But
On behalf of all women, we did not. Go on.
okay, fair enough. That's what we thought. But no, mine was not nearly as exciting. But mine was a gum wrapper, like like with like the juicy fruit, like we had like the
Yeah.
aluminum wrapper. I kind of rolled it into a ball, and I'm sitting
Uh-huh.
there at my desk, probably in the third grade, probably third or fourth grade, and I just kind of put it up my nose, and either sucked in or something happened, and I lost it up there. I just forgot about it. Like I didn't twice about it. I was a kid last. I just figured that stuff like whatever. It was
Work
fine.
itself out
Yeah,
somehow.
exactly. It must, it probably
Jesus
belongs up
Christ.
there. Otherwise, there wouldn't be, it wouldn't give me two of these holes in my face. And like 6 months later, I just remember I sneezed and it just produced like this encrusted, like well preserved, like I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot about you. But it wasn't like years later; it was like months later. But apparently, that's a
It's a
thing.
thing. Well, actually, my uncle Keith, my dad's brother, put a watermelon seed up his nose, and the
Oh,
problem with that was it started to grow because it was in a moist environment. So they had to emergency room that shit to get it out of there.
actually, I thought like a
That's
children.
scary as
I bet
shit.
there's like a children's book where that is the exact theme. Is like either puts it in his nose or his ear, and it grows
Grows
into
a,
a. If it's not a child's book, it
it
should be.
should be.
It should
It
be.
should be.
It's a good
Somebody
tale.
write that.
It's a cautionary but fun tale of
Yeah.
gardening.
PSA, don't stick shit up your nose.
Yeah, don't
Just
do
Yeah,
that.
saying.
I mean, it
Don't
seems
be
fun
us.
at the time, but whatever. Anyway, those are those.
Very nice.
To admittedly, I just read this headline so I could tell the story about the races. But anyway, that's fine.
That's all right. You do you. It's all right.
Thank you. All right, Matt, headlines.
Yes. So they actually took this headline down, but I'm gonna start off with a just kind of a bad headline. But I thought it was really pretty. I feel bad though that I thought it was funny. I'm just gonna say it. Then you guys can judge me afterwards.
All right.
The Drudge Report this afternoon just had the headline "One Direction Down," which
Jesus Christ, that is hilarious.
that's
It
what I
is
thought too.
awful and
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was. They
Yeah,
did
yeah, yeah, yeah,
finally
yeah, yeah,
remove it
yeah.
because yeah. But I was just like, it was literally one of those like hand on head thing. Like, god damn, like everybody was thinking it, but
Oh,
you actually put it
yeah.
out there. So kudos to
Yep,
you,
you
Matt
did
Drudge.
it. Well done,
Yeah,
dipshit.
yeah, Liam Payne from One Direction, who gave us Harry Styles and
Yeah,
that Zayn, somebody other, I don't know, like a British boy band for like the late
I
2000s.
think
Is
that.
that
Yeah,
Something like
I
that.
do think they played instruments though, but I'm not sure. I might be wrong about
they
that.
very
I
well
didn't
might be.
listen to them, so
Yeah,
can't say.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
Yeah.
apparently one of the fellas, one of the, as far as I can tell, less successful fellas, was like kind of on a bender, and cops were involved, and he fell off a hotel room and died. So that
was he on a bender? I
R.I.P.
didn't actually read
Yeah,
that.
there were like
Yeah.
apparently the cops had been called, and he was acting weird. So it sounds like he was all kind of. There are other reports that say he jumped, but I don't think they exactly. I mean, when you're all fucked up, like what's the difference between falling and jumping
It
half the
jumped.
time?
Yeah,
Right,
True.
right. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of a
yeah.
halfway. So anyway, sad news, but
Good headline.
a worthy headline. A worthy
Yeah,
headline. And
that
that's what we're
is.
here for.
Woo.
Judge
Yeah.
us not by the news, but just our headline.
That is true.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, like that
Just reporting it.
I
Yeah.
would say that's
yes,
a
absolutely.
nominee for best headline of the year. That's so
You're
I,
probably right,
I would
actually. Yeah.
agree. I would
Yeah,
agree. Yeah.
it was. Yeah. This one was also quite good. So, this is from the Latin Times, which is English, conveniently enough.
wow.
Oh, wow.
This was from a couple days ago. Woman who sued company for not giving her a farewell card finds out they did buy a card, but almost no one signed it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. She
So
got
in one of the what do they call those depositions? Basically, I think this came out. They're like, oh yeah, we got her a card, but we didn't want to give it to her because basically no one wanted. So I love this story. I love
Oh,
this
God.
Dude,
story.
I mean, this woman sued her company because she didn't. I mean, no wonder nobody signed the card. Like
Yeah, and I remembered hearing. I think this is from a few years ago because I remember hearing about this lawsuit like at the time, and I was like, some people are so lonely. But
Yeah, they are.
exactly.
yeah, but
Sad.
that was
Makes me sad.
the best conclusion possible. Is undoubtedly she's going to lose this. She probably just wasn't very well liked.
No,
Probably not.
No, she
So
lawyered up.
what else do we have for you? A lot of fun ones this week. Uh, are you guys one of those people that ask yourself what Russell Brand has been up to? Didn't think so.
All
However,
the time.
I'm gonna answer this well. Russell Brand is now flogging a magical amulet that costs $240.
Oh my
So he is
God.
now. This is from Indy 100 a couple days ago. He is apparently selling some blessed object now online for 230. Apparently, they have all kinds of shit you can buy. Like, think about like bringing the crystals industry into like the 21st century, where you
Yeah,
can
no
sort of
shit.
integrate like fake technology and with like an even bigger pool of idiots to work with. Uh, like I can't hardly blame him. But yeah, he's like a born again Christian now,
Yeah,
and like he's
Is he?
yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
I
that.
read an article. I saw an article where he was baptizing people in a river.
Weird. That's so
Yeah,
weird.
and so yeah, I think he's like he's one of those things. Like I don't know if his agent was like
it's agent.
his agent was like, look, everything that's coming out of you is bad, so you need to pivot hardcore. And so I don't know
Yeah.
if that's what's happening or if he's just I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. So
poor
anyway,
Katy Perry.
that's where I know.
Could be that.
Man, she's hit on hard times too though. Like she can't get a win to save her life. Like
Uh,
so yeah, she's oh poor Katie. It's
I don't know.
just all Taylor now. Just I
She was
don't even know
adorable
why
on the.
It is.
why sing?
She was
Taylor's there.
adorable on The Simpsons, to be fair. So
Yeah.
well, anyway,
To be fair. We still got your back, Katie.
we do.
Always.
Always.
She's no Carly Rae Jepsen. she's
Tyson.
I don't know what's going on with me and her. I don't know what the deal is.
Is that the Call Me Maybe girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why the fuck do I know that? That's so gross.
Listen, I know that too, and it sucks. So
Has she
I don't
done
know how you get
other
that information
like
out
has
of
she
me.
had other
Here's some
work
weird.
since then or
Yeah,
like
she
is it
has. She put out a
okay.
record, and weirdly enough, Phoebe Bridgers liked it enough so much that she had her open for her on tour. So
Phoebe Bridgers did?
yeah. So I mean,
Ugh.
maybe we should, but I don't know why I'm slamming on her so hard. I don't know what's going on with me. Anyway, sorry. I apologize to everyone about that. Call me maybe.
I actually read something the other day about who wrote somebody very good was writing for her too at some point. I don't know anyway, but I was like surprised. Like I was like, oh, okay.
One of the guys that's been doing a lot of writing for some of these new pop acts is the guy from Semisonic, the singer songwriter. He's been
For real?
he's been
Oh
producing.
man, I love Semisonic. That makes me sad.
They have new
No,
record out.
I actually remembered who it was, and it was even weirder. It was I think one of the guys from Skinny Puppy had written for
Wow,
yeah, which is if you know anything about Skinny Puppy because
that
I
is
think maybe they're both
unexpected.
Canadian. Are they both Canadian?
I think she is Canadian actually.
Okay, that makes sense then because they Canadians stick together.
They
Like
do.
Yeah, they
they
do.
stick together. Like it's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
All right, one last one, and then this was also quite fun. This is from the Guardian. Oregon police find bag full of drugs marked definitely not full of drugs. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, so just it was actually like a little case they had that said definitely not full of drugs, and it was full of a shit ton of drugs. So that's one of those cute ones about drugs. Fentanyl. Fentanyl is rarely funny, but in this
In
case,
this case,
Adorable.
that's
in
fine.
this
Yeah.
case, yes,
Well,
this
there
humor
you
happens to be laced with fentanyl. So
go.
that's all I got. Nothing. Yeah. Like the big stuff. We'll all be over soon, so we won't have to worry about no
Can't
more political
wait.
headlines.
Yeah.
No, I can't
Yeah.
either. Either way, I just want it to be over.
Yeah, I mean,
Same.
we'll go
I'm
into
It'll be
ready.
over. Mine
panic
too.
mode in a minute, but that's
Pull
fine.
off the fucking band-aid. Let's get on
That's
with
all
it.
right. We're gonna need to be each other's support system
We
on
will.
Yeah,
November
we
We
5th.
will.
are.
We
Lots of
will.
tears, I feel like, coming our way.
Yeah, I have a feeling too. But it's all right. We'll be
Yeah.
crying together. So that's
Yay!
the important thing.
That's
Well, we
nice.
watched
Well,
democracy burn.
yeah, that's
Hey,
okay though. Like, hey, it's a party, right?
it is a
Yeah,
party.
yeah,
It's a party, a sad
yeah.
party.
It will be a sad party, but yeah,
It'll
we
be
can tell
I,
fine.
her.
I don't
We'll
know,
get
man.
through it.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm sorry. I just keep thinking that, like, the polling is wrong. The polling has been wrong every time for the last two presidential cycles. So I just don't. I don't think it's right.
I
But
hope you're
whatever.
right, because like the one
I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm
yeah,
just
no, I'm
not.
not either.
Yeah.
I will be pleasantly surprised if Kamala wins at this point because she is trailing Biden by about 5 to 6 points nationally where he was this time in 2020.
Mm.
And you have to keep in mind too is like you've got this mentality that I had that like well certainly nobody who didn't vote for Trump in 2020 is going to vote for him now. She's out campaigning to black males
Yeah, I know.
right
Yeah.
now. So I'm like I said, it will be a pleasant surprise. I will enjoy it, but I'm not. I'm preparing myself for
Did you
off the
see?
grid living.
Did you did you see that clip of Obama like talking to a bunch of black men about how they're being
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was like, holy shit, that's like
yeah.
fucking hard. And then I saw a bunch of articles being like, he's talking down to black men and blah blah blah. I was like, I don't think so. I think he was actually kind of just keeping it real. But
Yeah,
any,
I think so too.
you should
Yeah.
probably look that if you guys don't know what I'm talking about out in listener land, you should look up
Oh no,
that
I didn't
clip.
listen to it. I did see the headline when that happened
The
because they
clip
were.
is like it's worth watching. It's kind of
He's
like
pretty
it's basically like Obama is basically chastising these young men, and I'm sure
interesting.
they weren't expecting that, but it was very interesting
Probably
to
not.
watch him do it.
No.
It's
I
definitely
don't
worth.
want Obama to give me shit.
It's only about 2 minutes long, but
Okay,
it
yeah,
is
I will
worth
find that.
watching. Anyway,
But
sorry,
anyway, so we'll
Dawson.
probably get another cast or two in before
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we
the
will for sure.
yeah,
Or
absolutely. So
We
definitely.
got we got yeah, we got a couple
yeah,
weeks, I
maybe we'll
think,
be
right?
more
2, 3,
inspired and yeah, something like
something
that.
like that.
I don't know. I saw somebody was like posting it in hours now. It's like, oh, good God, like
Oh,
247 hours
oh
total. Like,
god.
I don't
yeah,
want to see any of those
me
tickers,
neither.
whatever.
Me
All
Mm.
right.
neither.
I got a
Your
couple
headlines.
of uplifting
Very
headlines.
good. Very good.
Hey.
Actually, for us, the first one is from the New York Post. Sorry, top German neo-Nazi plummets 200 feet to his death while hiking on Hitler's favorite mountain.
Nice.
Hey.
Wow.
Yay!
Oh,
Andreas, I'm gonna fuck up the last name. Sorry, Ernst. My stepdad will hate me. Munzhuber. It doesn't matter. He's a neo-Nazi. Fuck
he's a
that guy.
Nazi.
And
Yeah.
Right.
he's
Right.
dead. Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's
Uh,
dead. Yeah.
37 years old, a senior member of the Bavaria faction of the neo-Nazi group, the Third Way. That sounds like a boy band.
Yeah, it does.
It really
Yeah,
does.
The
The
yeah.
white
third way
supremacist boy
down.
band. I wonder if that's a thing. If that's not a thing, it needs to be.
It really does. It really does. We can make t-shirts,
Oh
guys.
wait.
Again, add to the
Oh,
list.
I like that. The
Um,
third way. Yep.
the Third Way. Anyway, he was climbing the Untersberg mountain on a 30-person tour when he tripped on an exposed wet route and fell 196 feet down rocky terrain
Damn.
to his death on September 29th. Uh, German news outlets reported it. You can see this stupid fuck's face if you'd like on the New York Post, but rest in piss, you piece of shit.
Yeah. What a
I love
Yay.
it.
suiting end.
Warms my
Suiting end.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Rest in
and then
pits.
this one, another uplifting one. This is from, I don't know why I'm getting this on my feed, but I am all about it. KK Co 11 News. We're doing Colorado news, but it's about Utah. So skeleton strippers are back 1 year after controversial display.
Oh,
So I really feel like on our Facebook page, I'm going to post the link to this because
do that.
everybody should watch
Good
the
idea. It
video.
is. It's a
It
great
is
Absolutely.
the
idea.
best part about this. But this
Absolutely.
is from Grantsville, Utah, a Halloween decoration display from the Utah city. Went viral last year. It showed skeletons pole dancing in the neighborhood. While it was briefly taken down, the city is now obviously embracing the publicity it received from the exotic decoration. So it's really funny. Like the video is great. I don't want to ruin it. I think everybody will get a good laugh, which we need at this point in time.
I
Uh, Enjoy. I will
I
post
do.
it later.
I do want to say that while that video was spectacular, my favorite part is it's a child narrating the the situation that he's in front of.
Yeah.
And when he mentions the security guy, I fucking burst out laughing. Like I'm so sorry, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody. I don't think I am, but you got to
No,
watch it.
you're not. You're not. They'll still enjoy it, but it's fantastic. I
that's
love
quite
it.
good.
Feel good story. That's it. Those are my headlines.
Nice.
All right,
Um
plug it up. I got to
Plugs?
pee. Yeah.
All right. Let's just do all right, we'll skip the little intro
All
unless
right.
somebody wants to sing it, but yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
Da,
dun,
da, da,
dun,
da,
dun,
da,
dun, dun, dun.
da, 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 da.
You guys got it. You're
Okay,
doing a good job.
so couple
Plugs.
things. Plugs. Okay, so I'm gonna plug this record. It's by this band called Thrush Hermit.
Ooh, cool.
This record
Good
came out
band.
in 1997. It's never been released on vinyl. It is one of my favorite records from the 90s. Absolutely a must listen if you like indie rock, smart indie rock pop. Not pop, I would say, but it's definitely poppy. Anyway, it's called Thrush Hermit. That's the name of the band, and the name of the song is "Sweet Home Wrecker." You can find it in any of your whatever music services you use. Um, Also, this finally came out on vinyl. I've been waiting for this to come out on vinyl for like 15 years. It was amazing. I was so excited. It's also in 45 RPM, so it's got like a high fidelity.
Oh,
Oh, it's very nice. I'm gonna plug this book that I've been reading. That is fantastic. It's called The Art of Jack T. Chick.
Oh, nice.
And this
cool.
guy, if you see right here, you've probably seen these things. These are little things that people buy by the buttload and hand out and leave in bus stations,
Chick tracks.
whatever. Chick tracks, exactly. And this book is it's called The Unofficial Guide to the Art of Jack T. Chick, and it is unbelievable. It goes straight into like how he became a hardcore fundamentalist, into like the four people that convinced him that the Vatican was run by the Illuminati. The Illuminati was trying to put in put into office um, uh, oh fuck, what was his name? Carter. So Carter would bring about the New World Order and also the the end of the world. It is unbelievable. And he interviews Jack T. Chick in this book, and I haven't got that part yet. But basically, it runs down every single one that the guy's ever made. These Chick tracks. Uh, he's sold billions of these comics. He's sold more comics than any other comic book company ever. And
Damn.
people buy these things. So he has two lines. He has these Chick tracks, and he also has these comic books. And I got to know these comic books because my religious uncle had them for my cousin, and I love comic books. And these comic books are fucking scary. They're like horrifying. And then it's like they're just terrible, terrible. Like there's one called The Exorcist, and it's
Oh,
just
Jesus.
terrifying, terrifying. And then you get to the last page, and you're like, "But if you believe in God and you quote this Bible verse, this will never happen to you." I mean, it's just fucking bizarre and insane.
Fuck.
So it's right up my alley. Anyway, I got this. I got this on Amazon, and even if you're not into it, it's such a good read because it talks about how he was convinced by these people who were warlocks, supposedly, or part of the Illuminati, or escaped. The Pope was trying to kill them in the Vatican. I mean, it's nuts.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, I highly recommend this book. Um, let's see, what else did I do this week? Um, I watched this movie called Hellboy: The Crooked Man.
Okay.
So Lionsgate was going to lose their license for Hellboy, so they did a Fantastic Four circa 1989, which is when they hired Roger Corman to make a Fantastic Four movie. Or sorry, Fantastic Four movie with a budget of $100,000. And so basically, that's what they did. The company that made this was Millennium, and you guys will remember them. They produced two of the five Nick Cage movies we watched during our Nick
Oh,
Oh,
no
wow.
Cage
Okay.
era.
shit.
Yeah. So
Huh.
it is a low level movie company. I think they probably spent around $1 million to make this movie. Having said that, it is actually written by the creator of the comic book, and while the CGI is janky, whatever, it is the closest you'll ever come to actually seeing a real Hellboy comic as a movie. So I would recommend it. I really would.
Okay.
Having said that, um, your mileage may vary. I mean, also you're going up against Del Toro, who is a master of cinema. So like that's
Oh, yeah.
you're definitely going to compare it to that, and that's not fair. But anyway, it's definitely worth a watch. We did watch Beetlejuice, which was quite good. We enjoyed that a lot. I don't really have any thoughts about it except that it looks like there will be a sequel on Beetlejuice, I assume. Um,
There is going to be. Okay,
well,
cool.
no, it
I
just
didn't know
felt
that.
it. I don't know that there is. It just felt like that.
It felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did pretty well, didn't it?
It
Yeah,
did.
I think it did relatively
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a third one. I did think it was
Hmm.
good though. The story, I'm Beth was like, well, there's like a B story and a C story. I've taught her so many things. Anyway, and she's like, it was more nuanced. This movie was, and there was a lot more going on. And I was like, yeah, but the thing is about the original movie is that it's just this one thing, and it's so perfect in the way that it does the one
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, but having said that, audiences are a lot different than they were in 1989, whenever that came out. Uh,
Something like that. Yeah.
so anyway, and then let's see what else. Oh, finally, I did go see a show this week. I saw David Cross and Sean Patton
Yes.
at Liberty Hall, and
Cool.
they were great. I would say that David Cross, uh, he did about an hour and 20, which is a lot for a stand-up, I think. He and his closing joke was amazing. It was classic David Cross, and I assume they're going to release this on an album or a special or something, so I'm not going to ruin it. But it was one of those jokes like when he started it, and then it got to the point where he did the twist on it. Even I went and started laughing, like because I was like, "Oh my god, that is perfect, David Cross." Uh, the guy who opened for him, Sean Patton. So this is a very embarrassing story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Uh, Beth and I went early to Lawrence because that's where it was, and we did some walking around and we did some shopping. We went to the antique mall. We went to some other stores or whatever. Anyway, we were walking to Jefferson's to eat dinner, and out of the burger kitchen comes Sean Patton, who's a stand-up comedian of note, was
Hmm.
opening for David Cross. He's also in that show English Teacher. Uh,
Oh, yes. The
he's
coach?
he's the coach. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
So anyway, so he walks out and he's standing in front of us, and like a moron, I just go like hi, like just I was just like,
Cool, Tice.
yeah,
Cool.
very cool, right? Super fucking neat, right? And
God damn
and
it.
I was like, and he looks at me like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go. So anyway,
Fair.
and so I was like, and so I put my hand down, and we walked towards each other, and I go, hey, and I kind of nodded at him, and he's like, hey, and I was like, hey, I was like, how's it going? And he's like, oh, good. And I was like, all right. And I was like, oh, uh, and I says, I don't know what I said. Anyway, uh, so I was just like, I was like, take it easy, And then
Yeah.
and then I go, I go, we'll see you in about an hour. And he turned around, and he's like, oh, thanks for coming. And I was like, okay. And then I just left. So, but in your brain, you want to be like, will you take a selfie with me? And and it's like, that's not nice to do to a person that's just trying to have lunch.
I think the only person who enjoys it is Conan O'Brien. Literally.
So anyway, we ran into Sean Patton. Beth was like, you were much cooler than you're thinking that you were. Like, okay, that's fine. Anyway, and he was great, by the way. He did 30 minutes, and it was very
He's
funny.
funny. He
He
was on David's podcast. I really liked that
Well, he
episode.
was on
It was
Marin's
really
show.
good.
I don't know if he was on
I don't think I saw it or listened to that. Or no, his show, you
show
mean?
show,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he's quite good on this TV show. But like
He's great on
Very
English
good.
Teacher.
yeah.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
So anyway, we ran into him, and I after
You
initial,
embarrassed
I
yourself, and I
embarrassed
love
myself.
it so
And then,
much.
but I recovered. I recovered okay. I didn't geek out. I didn't want to be like, "Will you take a picture with me?" Because we were on the street. I didn't want to draw attention to him. You know what I mean? Like I just anyway. It was
Yeah,
neat.
just
It was
play
it
cool.
was neat to like see him anyway. So anyway, so that story was the lead story until finger guns happened, and then like that's
That's a
that.
yeah. He's
So
got a bad
anyway,
week. Yeah, he
Had
had
a
a
busy
bad week.
week, Tice.
Yeah,
Had
yeah,
quite
yeah,
the
yeah,
eventful.
yeah, for me, yeah, pretty busy. Anyway, those are my plugs. I did the album, the book. Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. Okay. Oh, look at my notes here. Those finger guns, yada
yeah.
yada
Good. You're
yada.
gonna
Okay.
consult with your
Uh,
producers, make sure.
Yeah, Mister
you
Mister
you
Apple.
look around the room to see if you forgot something.
I'm like,
I,
oh,
I
I
forget.
forgot about this book called "Where Do You Get Your Ideas." Anyway.
Tyson does the show, everyone, from the tacky wing. You can't see some of it. It's
It's
like
very
tacky wing
distracting.
slash
Very
office.
distracting.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's got a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
Just
I
randomly looks over and smiles a lot. You're
I
like,
Look at him. He's
oh,
doing it right
he
now.
is.
This is
He's doing it
amazing.
right now.
Oh,
ow.
he
And
found
he's getting
something.
up.
Uh
He's
oh. And
actually
he hurt
up.
himself.
Oh, you don't hurt yourself, Tyson.
This is one of my prized possessions.
Yeah, please don't.
I remember that. Yeah, I'd say
Oh,
Kansas.
amazing. Tice, you should just get that tattooed. That's a cool little illustration.
Oh, that is actually perfect. And I could get
Yeah.
the words on it too, because it's kind
Yeah,
of
You
awesome.
could
totally.
get the Godscape. Oh, that'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be freaking hilarious. Your
Oh,
mom will kill you, but,
you
whatever.
just saved me $800. Thanks. You're right. Thank you.
See?
Thanks a lot.
Tell
Uh,
him to zhuzh it up. I
Yeah.
mean, it shouldn't be exactly like it, but,
no,
whatever. We'll talk
I mean
offline
it could
about
be,
tattoos.
yeah,
Yeah.
but something along this line is actually exactly what I was
Use
thinking of.
it as inspiration, though, I think, to get
Yeah.
your idea
Yeah,
across.
absolutely.
I mean, he is a space squid. I can't believe I didn't know this. Anyway, sorry, whatever.
It's Kismet. Like that's just that's what happens sometimes. Just
That's
Some,
the,
what happens.
it's the
sometimes.
energy of the world, you know, pissing your mom off. That's what
I
it
know.
is.
Hi, Mom. Don't worry. I'll wear long sleeves around the family.
I mean, that's
Uh,
kind of cool though. Like how like you don't get very many opportunities in life to like go home at like 48 years old and like shock your parents, right?
yeah.
Like
That is
like
true. That is true. You
those
gotta keep them on their
opportunities you
toes at
do.
all
You
ages.
have to
The last time I did something like
yes,
that,
yes.
the last time I did something like that was I came back from college with fuchsia colored hair. like,
Amazing.
so like
See,
that's
That's what I'm
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And
so
Whatever.
recreate that magic, that sort of
Yeah.
fear, that youthful fear, that they know.
Brings
Yeah,
them back to the day too. It's great.
absolutely, absolutely.
yep. All right. Well, I love how this is all
That's what
worked
I
out.
tell myself every time my dad just shakes his head and doesn't talk to me for a couple days.
Uh,
That's the new you're grounded. Just like yeah,
that-
yeah.
yeah.
Just
Well,
I
It's
can't
not
ground you,
even
but
a, I'm disappointed in you. It's like, Jesus, Jess, God.
love it.
Matt, plugs. You got any
Yeah,
plugs?
Plug
I have a
it.
lot. The only real plug I have is for, and we're actually rewatching the third season. Is for Outer Banks. I don't know if either of you have watched Outer Banks on Netflix,
I know
but it
you
is
plugged it.
a
I never did.
You've
I never.
it's like
mentioned it
a
before.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
young. It's definitely more catered to the young adults,
Would you
but is
say
like
it's
Kathy.
CW worthy?
Yeah, it's better than the
Sounds
CW.
CW
It's
worthy.
it's it's
Little.
it's so okay. Same demo, but like with a Netflix budget.
Okay.
So
All right.
like
Okay. All right.
yeah, so
All right.
yeah, it's a very
Nice.
it's a
Okay.
that's a fair comparison. But no, it's quite good. It's like yeah, like a bunch of teens who, as Kathy pointed out like the other night, like who just never use cell phones hardly, which is like so. But I love that. But like that's how they make like TV shows timeless now is they just don't have cell phones everywhere because
Yeah.
like everybody just has a cell phone with them everywhere and like it would just they talk to each other. They don't
Yeah.
like post shit on TikTok so anyway, so no, it's quite good. So season four just came out last week. The first half of season four, which I don't know if you fun factoid. It's always good to have a factoid. Like you know
Hell
why
yeah.
they do the Sopranos actually started this, but there's a lot of places have started doing a part one of season whatever and then a part
Yeah.
two of season whatever.
Yeah.
It's because they don't have to renegotiate their contracts. So because typically after every season they renegotiate everybody's contract, and so as a way
Interesting.
to get around this, they kind of invented this with the Sopranos, is that they didn't want to renegotiate everyone's contract, so that okay, we'll just do them two. So I guess if you come in under the amount of shows that were originally slated, there's something. Anyway, I thought that
Oh,
was
there's some
interesting.
kind of loophole or
That is
some bullshit.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little.
exactly. Yeah, there's like some legal loophole where you're still obligated. They make
Interesting.
the duration. I thought that was an interesting. I always wondered why they did that. Like part one
Yeah.
season, like I just call it a
Yeah.
different season, but it's just because they're lazy. They don't want to. Yeah, they're like, all right, running out of material. Yeah.
Yeah. Happens.
So yeah, recommend checking that out. And then my unplug for the
Ooh.
week is the Menendez brothers documentary on Netflix. So I
Really?
wondered if you had this as a
Damn,
plug,
that's like
maybe.
up next. I'm watching some fucking Peacock
Also,
documentary
so I
right
don't want
now.
to. Okay, so I'm actually glad you haven't watched. Actually, there is another Menendez brothers documentary but it's about his dad in Menudo, where the
Mm.
focus is more on Menudo. I think so. I think it's
Oh.
called Menendez something in Menudo.
He diddled
Some-
one of the I should okay, that's a terrible way to
theoretically,
put it.
yeah,
But yes, he did, right? Like his
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
father.
we
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, allegedly. Let's
yeah,
not get
yeah.
into that.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly,
That
yeah,
guy's a giant
yeah,
piece of shit.
yeah,
So,
yeah. You keep getting
whatever.
texts from our attorney during this. It's like,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
fuck.
No, but like, yeah, but that was my thing with. Like, I want to get her. I want to see how. I want. I'm going to refrain because I thought it was very even-handed. I thought they basically just left out like all the bad shit that they ever did. Like even
Mm,
like when they were being like, being cross-examined, like it was just the defense attorneys, and like they didn't handle any of the prosecution stuff. So I'm still very
Uh-huh.
much on the fence about like what, but my problem with it is like at the end they do this thing where they like try to tie it to the Me Too movement, and they're like, we can all be brave, and it was just
oh,
like it
Ugh.
was disgusting. Like
That's
again,
fucked.
well, that's what I thought too, and like so I'm very kind of interested to get your read on it because like yeah, even if like he did diddle the Menendez boys,
and
which is
Menudo.
I guess the nicest way,
And
like
Menudo,
you are
yeah.
still not allowed to kill your parents because of
No.
it. Like that, like it's this whole thing of like and I've got like
And
I
then
know
spend a bunch of money. Like, come on,
absolutely
guys.
right, and it just left a lot of stuff out, like how they they often conveniently right after they changed the will, and so there was just a like they just
Yeah.
purposed this. The one thing I've learned about Netflix documentaries, as much as I loved sort of Making of a Murderer and all those, was like once you
Same.
sort of delve into it a little bit, it's kind of like the Michael Moore approach. Like whereas like yeah, there's a
It
lot
is.
of
Yeah,
shit that's
totally.
left out to make a point.
Yeah, for sure.
This one didn't even try. Like it was just, but it was
Yeah.
like all these like the TikTok revolution, because I'd heard about that, like how all these kids on TikTok are, think
Oh,
that like
it's
what, like
insane, dude. I went down that
you don't know,
rabbit
you weren't
hole.
alive in
Oh my god.
'92, you don't
That
know.
rabbit hole is so insane. Like, don't do it. I was
Oh,
literally down it for like almost an hour one night because I was so bored and I was like, these people are deranged.
it's the one conspiracy theory I do believe is TikTok is a mind bomb for Generation Z, and China is making our youth purposely stupid.
Mm,
And this is just the example.
Yeah,
Like I think
agree.
they
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm not. Don't worry about stealing your privacy. Nobody gives a shit
no,
about your privacy.
no. They're
It's like
slowly
they're
sucking
entering
out your
exactly like when like
head.
12-year-olds are curious about the Menendez brother murder. Like what?
Also, like, there's a weird with the girls. I mean, there's like a sexy thing going on with. They're like, oh, they're too cute to, It's like it gets
Yeah,
real weird out there. Yeah,
yeah. I bet it does. Like I'm
it's
sure.
like me in the early '90s with like Calvin Klein models. Like they've got the Menendez brothers like plastered in their rooms.
oh
that is
wow.
that is
Yeah,
weird. I didn't realize it'd gotten to that. Like yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's strange.
well,
It's
they're
real
already
strange.
taken, ladies. So buck up.
Yeah.
They've already been married. Somebody knew before you did.
They're married. They
They
probably
were
are somebody's bitches in
yeah.
jail.
Well, I
Like you've
will say
missed
that
that
the one
boat.
thing, and I actually looked up a lot during the dramatization, and the dramatization is way more accurate than the documentary is, which it has to be
Really.
first. But like, because
Yeah,
most of that stuff I would look up because I'm like, oh, that's certainly most of like the on fact, like what happened during a scene, all that shit happened. Like it's so
yeah.
watch them back to back if you haven't. Nobody can get enough of the Menendez brothers. I don't know why we're seeing such a resurgence, but I don't know. I guess we're
Well,
rethinking
it's
frat
because
bros from the late
that
'80s.
it's that DA
Yeah.
guy. He's got like I mean, for everything I read, the DA that's talking about opening the case again is losing by 30 or 40 points in the election, and
Oh
Oh, no
wow!
shit.
that's
So this
why
is
Wow.
his like,
This is his, yeah,
his
Hail
thing. He's
Mary,
like,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
that's basically what it is, and they're
what?
like, and everybody's like, well, the election's in like 3 weeks. What the fuck can you do in 3 weeks? And but he's saying all this shit. Like, I mean, basically, what's happening is he's so far behind. And that thing came out, and there was some chatter on the inner tubes, and so that's his whole deal. He's just trying to get some votes because he's, I mean, I when I heard that he was 30 or 40 points down, I was like, "Oh, that can still happen?" Like I'm just used to everything being a fucking dead heat now,
Right,
but
right.
but anyway, sorry.
Interesting. I had not heard that, but yeah, it's
Yeah. So I mean, that's definitely part of the traction that's going on, I think.
interesting.
I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you watch it. We'll get back to this. We'll
I will.
revisit
Yeah,
this. We can't really talk about.
I'll watch it after this Peacock documentary that I'm watching about one of the Grey's Anatomy
Oh,
fucking writers who was a total fucking lunatic.
Is
Interesting.
that the one
Well,
about the
that's all I
Pathological
sexual
had.
liar.
So
the
yeah.
Did you
sexual
So
guys
assault?
ever hear about this woman? She
No,
like literally
not
lied
until this
about
week.
everything, and it is sickening.
No,
There's a little Kansas connection in the documentary, which I wasn't prepared
like,
for. So yeah,
isn't
yeah.
that fun? Like whenever you're
yeah, I know those are always fun. I'm like, ooh, Topeka, Kansas. I know that shithole. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
for those
yeah,
who didn't grow up in Kansas. That's what it's like. There's like we get amused by like
yeah.
seeing like Kansas mentioned in any way, shape, or form, negatively or
Yeah,
positively.
we're
Like it
excited.
doesn't matter. We'll take it.
Yeah,
Dude, it's so true. It's so true.
it's very true.
Yeah. Just diehard Kansans through and through.
Yeah, I mean,
So proud, so embarrassed at the same time.
we were
Exactly.
we were at the Outer Banks like 2 years ago, and I was picking up a pizza, and some dude came up to my car while I was waiting for the pizza, and he's like, "I see you're from Kansas. I lived in Kansas," and I'm like, "That is so Kansas of you to say that," like,
Yes,
it's like
So
I would do that. I
Kansas.
would do that. Like, hey,
I would
Kansas.
totally do that too. Yeah.
Right, like when I see the FFA kids here, like for their convention, I'll see like Scott City. I'm like, it's like
Scott
that'd be
City.
weird. That'd be weird. That'd be weird. That'd be weird. Yeah.
Hey, Scott
Fucking
City.
hilarious.
Hey, Scott
Scott
City.
City. Shout out Scott City. We should just shout out a random Kansas
We
town
should.
like
I like
every
that too.
like
We
this
should.
episode is dedicated to fucking Quinter.
My
Quinter,
Nice.
Kansas.
my
Hunter.
dental hygienist is from Scott City, so there you go.
I
Oh
don't know.
shit. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Scott City it is.
All Kansas.
Scott
Yeah.
City, this is for you.
That's
All of
right.
it.
That's right.
Yep.
Winter.
Sweet Concordia.
Corner's got a good rodeo, I hear. I think.
Ah,
Is that
Yeah.
right, Corner?
I live
They're on
That's
top of the
Corner?
rodeo scene. That's
I don't
good.
I
know.
All
live
I
right.
don't know. I don't
dangerously
Something.
close to Clinton.
know. I
Anyway,
don't know.
sorry.
Anyway,
All right. Smith, any more
no,
plugs?
that's it. That's
That's
it.
it?
Just the
What
Okay.
two.
what is the name of the documentary? Just real fast. Maybe I'll
It's
delve into it.
called. Hold on, you might want to write this down. It's called The Menendez Brothers.
Okay, all right. Thanks. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Nice. That's when you're supposed to like write it down and then yeah,
Right.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
come
I
on.
went to and
Finish
then
the
I got
bit.
distracted by this again.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
okay.
His new
Your mind
tattoo.
is elsewhere.
He just keeps looking at it. He's like,
Yep.
It's happening. All right. I got a few. So there's a new movie out for rent called Cuckoo. Have you guys seen this?
I tried to watch it and I got the non-English version, so I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
So I
that's
will.
one to put on Plex, Ties.
It is
It's
on Plex,
fucking
the
good.
non-English version.
All right, we'll put the right one on there.
I will.
Come on.
I'll
I
find.
shouldn't say that. Put
I'll-
the, the
let
regular.
let
Okay,
the
I need a nap. Yeah.
let the right one in. Yeah, I will.
Yes,
I
let
will.
the right one. But it's written and directed by this guy Tillman Singer. I think this is like his first like bigger budget thriller that he's done. But it stars Hunter Schafer from Euphoria,
Oh,
who I think is a brilliant actress, and she's way better than what's her fucking nuts who's dating Spider-Man.
Sweeney. Sweeney, is that her
She's
name?
got like one
Julia
name.
Sweeney.
I don't
Zendaya?
know.
Oh,
Is that how you
Ah,
say
yeah,
it?
yeah. Zendaya,
Zendaya.
right? Yeah.
See, I'm on the tip.
Good
Yeah.
job, Smith. Dude, you're so hip. Wow.
It's
This
like
is amazing.
unavoidable. It's like it's like music in a grocery store. You can't get away from it. Yeah.
That's true.
But it's about this 17-year-old girl who's forced to move with her family to a resort in Germany, and things are not what they seem. And that's all I'm going to say. It's fucking good. They do some shit in there that I've never seen in a horror movie ever. It's really great. The shots are amazing. I really want you guys to watch it so we can talk about it because
That's fine.
I'm that jazzed about it. It's
What was it
fucking
called again?
brilliant. Cuckoo.
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 Yeah. And Hunter Schafer, I cannot plug her enough. Holy crap. She's there is a scene. Okay, we'll just talk about it later.
Okay,
But it's one of the best scenes I've seen all year.
I'm gonna watch it because it's on my list. But as
Okay.
long as you're doing
Bump
this,
it up the list.
as
Yeah.
long as you're doing this, can I just say this one? Can we also agree to watch the Substance movie, which is on my Plex?
We can. We're actually seeing it on Saturday in the
Okay.
theater.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
for sure. Yeah.
Now you guys
gotta
know
talk about
you guys
that.
know who directed it, right?
No? Who?
The person who directed Titan. So this is their next movie.
Fuck, this is our next Titan. Okay,
Yeah,
Smith,
yeah.
you gotta, get that going.
Anyway, okay,
All
sorry.
right, we'll talk about it next week. Oh, I didn't know that. Tice, that's great. That's a fun fact. Okay, so watched another new movie, which I think both of you have maybe seen already. Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I
Maybe
saw it.
just
I've not
Tyson
seen it. Yeah.
Smith.
Nope.
You should watch it.
It's good. Yeah.
I really liked it a lot.
How about that? How about that last monster? Jesus Christ.
Dude, the monsters in this are insane.
Yeah.
Like, it is just, I mean, they just keep getting better and better and better. There are nice little Easter eggs thrown throughout. It's great. I really liked it. It was super fun.
I liked it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a little
loved it.
pokey. It was a little pokey at the start, but that's a small grievance.
A little bit for sure. It took a minute to like get
But
going,
once it
but
got going, it was great.
once it got going, you're like, holy shit, this is great. Like they did such a phenomenal job with it. And then because it's spooky season, I gotta plug us another spooky. It's a new show on Hulu called Out There: Crimes of the Paranormal.
Ooh.
Does sound
It is so stupid, you guys. Like the last episode I watched was about a goat man, and I was like fucking all about it. And people are like literally committing suicide on this train track that's on a bridge trying to see this goat man. And it's just not happening. Like, because it doesn't exist. Anyway, that's one of the episodes. I'm doing a terrible job of plugging this, but I love this stuff. So check it out. It's on Hulu.
Wasn't it out
It,
there?
it's
Something?
called Out There: Crimes of the Paranormal. There are 8 episodes, and it's all about stupid encounters that crazy people have had. And then they do something terrible in real life because of, this thing in their town that supposedly haunts something. Or it's all about folklore, but they take it to a next level where they commit a crime. And now most of these people are dead.
Okay.
That's
All right.
basically it.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah.
All right.
Super fun, super fun.
Yeah.
And then my last plug is a documentary on Netflix called Will and Harper. Have you guys watched this yet?
not
I
yet.
haven't
Kathy
yet.
has,
Beth
but not
Beth
yet.
watched it.
It's great. It stars Will Ferrell and Harper Steele. And it's just a road trip that they take together and talk about Harper and her transition. And I think it's extremely heartwarming. Lots of feels, having gone through this with one of my best friends, Twig, and I loved it. I loved it. I thought they did a phenomenal job, and everybody should watch it. So, yeah, that's probably my biggest plug this week. Watch it and vote. Also,
Vote.
please, fuck,
Yes. Early. Vote early. You can do it now.
vote early. Yeah,
As far
yeah.
as I
Come
know.
on.
We're going
Depending
Yeah,
on
Monday.
your local municipality.
yeah.
We're going Monday.
We're
Yeah.
go-
We are.
we're
going Monday.
going Monday. Yeah, we got our ballots in the mail. We also got our neighbors' ballots in the mail. I'm like, you guys, what the fuck? Come on.
Just fill those things out and
Anyway,
send them in.
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's not
that's
on you.
legal.
That's not on you.
Hey, listen, somebody sends you a package by mistake. It's not a federal crime to open it. And now having
Right,
to
right.
vote though, that might be a different thing. I don't know.
That might be a little
That might be a different
dicey.
thing. Yeah, especially in
I want to do all I can for Kamala.
there was
All right.
just real fast. Last night's Daily Show. They sent a reporter out to the Juggalo Fest to talk to them about the election.
Oh, fucking yes.
And the segment is so funny because they actually talked to one half of the Insane Clown Posse, and to get his take on politics and his what he thinks about, it's fucking hilarious. It really is.
We
Funny.
Was it
definitely
like
watch that.
weirdly articulate or was it just bonkers?
I mean, he was fucking baked, no question. Like he, he was baked. Like at one point, like he was like the interviewer was like showed him a picture of Tim Walz with Juggalo makeup, and he's like, "What do you think of this?" He's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "That's Tim Walz." He goes, "Who?" So it's that kind of level. But yeah, but he has some real thoughts about some policies. Anyway, it's worth watching. Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna check that out. Mildly obsessed with juggalos, so
me,
that's happening.
me too. Yeah.
All right, guys. Always a
right.
pleasure. Until we
133.
meet again.
Just like
Yeah.
clockwork, we are. All right. All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
This is our time.
That's
Yes.
right.
Everybody.
Bye.
I like your lighting in the back. It's good.
Do you like it?
Yeah,
It's a
I
little
noticed
like
that for the first time.
Tron-ish.
I bought
Yeah.
one of those for
Yeah.
Sally for Christmas. But she likes it too. You should
She
buy
likes
one.
it too? You can change the colors. Maybe next week I'll have red, white, and blue just going. Distract everyone.
That's all
Absolutely
right.
do.
I can work with that.
Yeah, why not?